everyone. Good evening. Hi, Aya.
Hi everyone! Hi Jules! Welcome sa daldalang walang curfew.
Usapang hindi na-lockdown. This is Quarantalk. Hey, Aya
Okay,
and everyone. Yes, sa lahat ng mga friends natin, this is our episode 56. And this is a very important episode kasi a very important person ang in-invite natin na makakapanayam natin, Aya. Pero syempre, bago yan,
let's see our latest COVID-19 tally, Jules.
yes, of course. So every episode ng QuaranTalk, we always make sure na ipakita natin ang ating mga numbers. So for today, from the Department of Health, ang ating active cases ay nasa 49,931. Ang ating total cases ay pumalo na sa 238,727. Death toll natin at 3,890. At ang recoveries natin, lumulobo na yan sa 184,906.
As for the new record for today, kasama na po dyan ang 1,383 new confirmed cases, 15 deaths po were added, and 230 patients who have recovered were also included in that tally. Globally, just to give you an idea, some 27.3 million cases na po ang meron tayo worldwide. Ang death toll po ay nasa 882,000 while the recoveries ay nasa 18 million po. Ayan, Jules?
Yes, and of course, you also need to check out kung, well, alam na rin naman ng mga kababayan natin to, pero just to be sure, ito po yung listahan ng ating mga quarantine classification kasi this will run for the whole month. Okay, so MECQ, nandyan ang Iligan, ang GCQ, of course, Metro Manila, Bulacan, Batangas, Tacloban City, Tacloban, and Bacolod, and MGCQ, the rest of the Philippines. And later on, after our interview with our guest, pag-uusapan pa natin, Aya, ang iba't ibang mga big news din. But of course, marami pa tayong mga topics, Aya, with regard to COVID-19. Simulan natin. Dito lamang yan sa latest news.
Right, so more updates on COVID-19. The curve of COVID-19 cases has flattened. Ayon yan sa University of the Philippines Acta Research Team na nagsasabing bumaba na ang rate of transmission or the virus reproduction rate ng COVID-19 sa Metro Manila at Calabarzon. Bumaba na rin daw ang positivity rate or ang average ng mga bagong COVID-19 infections. Pero, paalala ni Professor David ng Acta Research Team, hindi tayo dapat maging overly excited sa balitang ito. Ang trends ay pabago-bago at kailangan pa rin mag-ingat because again, nandito pa rin ang virus. Sabi pa niya, the threat is still there. Meanwhile, sa National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana says the Philippines aims to flatten the curve by end of this month. You can read more on that sa CNN and ABS-CBN websites.
Well,
Jules.
this is a welcome development, but of course, sabi nga ng mga experts natin, huwag tayong maging complacent kasi diyan tayo napipeligro. Kaya as much as possible, hindi lang as much as possible, kailangan natin ituloy pa rin yung mga health protocols natin. Right. Okay, next news naman natin. Okay. Right, ito naman. PNP that's probe to probe social media, okay, for quarantine violators. Okay, at ang balita nga natin dito, syempre, kasama na ang social media sa mga kasamang babantayan ng Philippine National Police sa pagsigurong mapapanagot ang mga lalabag sa quarantine protocols. Nilinaw ng PNP na tanging mga viral post o publicly available post lang ang kasama sa monitoring. Ito ay matapos magkaroon ng ilang pangamba sa posibleng data privacy violations. Paalala rin ng National Privacy Commission, kailangan siguraduhin ng PNP na ugaliin na legal ang paraan ng pag-monitor sa social media accounts. Ayon kay Lieutenant General Guillermo Elizar, magiging basehan lamang ang public post na ito ng mas malalim na investigasyon sa posibleng violation. So parang yan daw yung start ng investigation nila. Pero medyo natawa ako doon sa part na yung mga viral post lang daw yung imbestigahan nila kasi baka daw ewan ko So kailangan mag-viral pa muna. Pero alam naman natin na merong pinakamalaking viral post nung May at yun yung pinopost ng mga kababayan natin nung lumabas ang balita na to. Ikaw, anong tingin mo dito?
Sana naimbestigahan din yung viral post na yon. But again, Jules, ang paglilinaw din ng PNP dyan, hindi naman kakayanin kung buong social media world ang iimbestigahan ng PNP. So, uunahin pa rin, priority pa rin, yung mga complaints at public posts na pinapadala mismo sa PNP. And again, hindi ito ang sole basis para mapanagot o makulong or ma-apprehend ang sino man. This will just start the investigation into the possible quarantine violations. So yon, on to our next update on the
Right.
vaccines.
Yes, go ahead, Aya.
Sinabi ng sinabi ng Department of Health na patuloy pa rin ang pakikipag-ugnayan tungkol sa mga vaccine trials, pero aabutin pa ng ilang buwan ang clinical trials para sa anti-flu drug na Avigan mula sa Japan, ganun din sa virgin coconut oil na abutin pa ng 12 months. So naglabas din ang Department of Science and Technology ng FAQs o gabay sa frequently asked questions tungkol sa progress ng COVID-19 vaccines at clinical trials sa Pilipinas. So, ma-access po yan sa DOST website, pero ilalagay din natin sa screen nyo ang link to the FAQs para sa progress on the vaccine and some things to know about it. Ayan. bit.ly/COVID-19-DOST-FAQS, all capital letters. There you go. Jules?
Yes, okay. So, ayan, at least may mga developments na tayo pagdating dyan sa vaccine at sa iba't iba pang mga progress. Kasi, alam mo ba, 7 months na tayong naka-quarantine, di ba? Ganun kabilis. 7th month na natin ngayong September. Pero, syempre, sa mga pag-uusap natin, di ba, gaya nga ng nabanggit natin dun sa caption natin, for the longest time, inaalam natin kung ano ba yung ambag ng iba't ibang mga sektor. Ngayong gabi po, sa ating susunod na segment, pag-uusapan natin, ano nga ba ang ambag ng ating Senado. Dito lamang yan sa QuaranTHINK. Alright, here we go. Aya, sino ba ang ating special guest ngayong gabi sa QuaranTalk?
Right. So makakasama po natin ngayong gabi, Chairperson ng Senate Committee on Finance. We have with us Senator Juan Engardo, SONNY Angara. Senator,
Hey, Senator.
welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening. Ea, good evening, Jules. Sa lahat ng nakikinig, sumusunod dito sa podcast ninyo. Magandang gabi po.
Maraming salamat po, Senator Sonny Angara, and thank you for giving us the opportunity na makapanayam namin kayo dito sa ating show. So let's start po, sir, with this one. Mula nang nagkaroon po kasi ng lockdown sa Metro Manila, lagi na nating inaabangan ang community quarantine announcements, dati every 15 days. And recently, you warned po of a possible economic collapse if NCR would revert to MECQ. And so what are your views on how we should assess and balance the country's economic welfare and on the other hand, public health as well? Tingin niyo, sir.
Well, very tough issue yan. Thanks for having me, guys. No, very tough issue talaga yung pagbalanse dyan. But I think at the end of the day, kung walang kumpiyansa yung mga tao sa na safe sila pag lumabas on the health aspect, na kontrolado yung sitwasyon, they will not, hindi rin sila magpupunta ng mall, hindi rin sila maglalabasan, and to revive all the or perform all the economic activities na crucial sa ating ekonomiya. Hindi rin mangyayari yon kung hindi natin kinontrol yung situation. So, I think that you have to strike that right balance, and dun sa datos na pinakita nyo kanina, mukhang that yung 2-week or 15-day MECQ breathing spell na hiningi ng ating health professionals, mukhang nakabuti naman dahil from 6,000, 7,000 a day, we had less than 2,000 a day for the first time in a long time. No? So hopefully, tuloy-tuloy yan. We know that's a product of the quarantine. Ang inaabangan natin, ano yung figures post MECQ, no? Yung kasi may lag time nga yun. So yun ang abangan natin. We will see, no? Hopefully, na-imbibe na natin, no? Talagang nagawing habitual yung good habits natin, wearing masks, etc.
Yeah. Senator, we know that addressing the pandemic is it requires addressing different aspects. And before the last SONA of the president, you mentioned some aspects that you were expecting to hear, for example, on education, on contact tracing, and on jobs, for example. Since then, since July or past couple of months. How would you assess our government's response to these areas, and maybe what do you wish to be addressed further?
Siguro if I had to use one word, nag-improve naman tayo. Hopefully faster yung steeper yung learning curve natin or not steeper but faster yung improve natin, no? Pero nakikita ko naman na yung testing capacity natin it's way up to a couple of months kumpara natin sa a few months ago. Mas marami ng centers, testing centers. There's a shorter waiting time for your test results at although not quite yet in the sweet spot na sinasabi ng health experts na I forget if it's 36 or 48 hours that you have to get your test results para yung contact tracing nyo in real time, di ba? Kasi pag sabi nila, pag masyadong pag like 4 or 5 days yan, wala nang silbi yung contact tracing mo dahil nakalabas na yan eh. Karamihan nung dapat mo i-trace at i-isolate as a consequence. Nakalabas na yan at nanghawa na, especially the asymptomatic cases, no? So I think yun yung some of these aspects, not just now that we've scaled up our testing, yung testing processing ng testing time is still a challenge apparently because of the lack of medtechs, etc., people to process the results from the lab, among others, no? So these are the little things that really we have to drill down para gumanda yung resulta natin. But again, it all boils down, I think it's no secret anymore after si Jules mentioned 7 months in quarantine. More or less alam na natin ano yung talagang mga useful responses, no? Like testing, we talked about it a little bit. Contact tracing, medyo talagang done. I think that's one aspect that we really need to improve. Talagang so we put some stuff in Bayanihan to help contact trace. At dito naman sa isolation and quarantine, kulang din tayo ng quarantine center, especially sa probinsya. Dito sa Manila, well, it's also good that initially we rented out some of the hotel facilities kasi bakante rin yun eh. Dahil sarado yung tourism sector, at least may income yung mga stakeholders ng tourism industry in the form of quarantining. Ginawa rin yun sa ibang bansa like Singapore, I think, no? So sa health response, yun talaga ang pangunahing dapat response natin. And I think at least hindi na tayo under yung sobrang strict na quarantine na kailangan mo talaga bigyan ng allowances lahat ng tao dahil palagay ko hindi na kaya ng gobyerno after the first round of social amelioration program or SAP or cash transfers under Bayanihan 1. Move on na tayo to a different type of philosophy under Bayanihan 2 is that tulungan naman natin yung mga talagang tinamaan itong huling ilang buwan, yung mga nakasarado ang kanilang mga negosyo, yung mga mawawalan ng trabaho, yung mga OFWs na bumalik, for instance. So ito yung a few of the sectors that we tried to focus on dito sa Bayanihan 2 to Recover as one act.
Right, sir. So, thank you po at nabanggit nyo na yung Bayanihan 2 kasi kumbaga ito na nga yung malaking ambag ng Kongreso, ng Senado at ng House of Representatives para dito sa COVID response. With over, sir, tama no, 140 billion pesos allocated for COVID-19 response. And ito rin po yung kasabay nung nilabas yung maraming inuutang ng Pilipinas. Sa tingin nyo, sir, dito sa budget na to, dito sa pangalawang phase ng Bayanihan, well, to recover naman right now, how do we ensure, sir, especially from your end as chair ng Finance Committee ng Senado, na matiyak na mas transparent yung pag-monitor natin dito sa paggamit ng pera?
Yeah, definitely. That's key, I think. No? Gusto makita ng tao na itong malaking mga halaga ay napupunta talaga sa tama. So, continuing yung report po ng Presidente, in fact, hindi lang to Congress but also to the Commission on Audit. Kailangan niya mag-report dyan at i-detail in specifics ano yung saan nagastos yung mga halaga. Kasi karamihan ng items under the law were lump sums. At yun ang request po ng executive. Ibig sabihin, lump sums, walang masyadong specifications kasi sabi ng executive branch, hindi nila alam talaga how much exactly of, let's say you allotted 1 billion for this item. Hindi nila alam kung yun ay mapupunta sa testing lang or sa tracing. So sabi nila, give us some flexibility to react to the virus. In normal times, yung pag-budget ng Kongreso, both houses, Senate and the House of Representatives, kung anong nakalagay sa budget, hindi pwedeng ibahin ng ng executive branch yon, ng mga agencies of government. That would be equivalent to technical malversation, no? So sabi nga nila, because COVID is a new phenomenon, please give us the flexibility. So yun ang naging filosofiya. So I agree with you completely that the flip side of that increased or greater power must be a greater amount of transparency also. Mukhang agree naman sila dito. So hopefully we see good news ahead, no? Na talagang ginastos po sa tama. At binanggit nyo rin yung utang. Ang makagandahan dito sa bayanihan, yung 140 billion na sinabi nyo, a lot of that came from savings dahil naka-avail tayo ng mga savings from, let's say, nag-avail ka. You availed of it at 1% as opposed to 5%. I think at least half of that or one-third of it is from interest rate savings dun sa loans natin dahil gumaganda nga yung credit rating natin. Medyo that's something that's a bit abstract to many of our listeners and countrymen. Pero ang ibig lang sabihin niyan is nakakautang po yung bansa na mas at a lower rate. Kumbaga dati umuutang ka ng bumabalik ka ng 10%. At least ngayon 1% na lang. So may savings ka. And hopefully yung savings na yon at least dito sa bayanihan, yun ang gagawing source ng funds dito sa bayanihan.
Sir, habol ko lang regarding Bayanihan 2 pa rin. Kailan po inaasahan na mapirmahan to ng Pangulo natin? Kasi tapos na po with the BICAM, di ba? So what's the next process?
Yes. Actually, 2 weeks na namin ina-approve yan. So we're just waiting for the Office of the President to finally transmit to Congress na napirmahan na talaga ni Pangulo. Dati may ceremonias pa yan sa Malacanang pa ng pirmahan. Magpupunta doon ng mga senador at congressman. But we don't expect that now. So just as announcement from the Office of the President, sabi nila, iniikot pa daw nila sa iba't ibang ahensya for their feedback. So, it's a little, I don't know if that's really the procedure, but kami, the sooner the better sana. At saka, total, it's really a true bayanihan. I don't want to claim credit for this, nor do I want to claim credit on the part of the Senate kasi may ambag nga ang Senado, may ambag ang Kamara, may ambag din yung mga ahensya. Like, the IATF gave us a lot of inputs as to anong maganda, anong kinakailangan nila. Dahil sila talaga yung nasa front lines. Sila General Galvez, Secretary Dizon, sila yung nagsabi, uy, wala tayong mapaglagyan. Kaya naalala nyo, nung at the height of our cases, or not at the height, nung tumataas talaga yung mga COVID cases natin, as a result of many returning OFWs, we had about 50,000 who returned in a short span of time, a number of weeks lang. Napuno yung Rizal Sports Center, di ba? Yung Rizal Coliseum. Hindi tayo handa. We were not ready for that. And naubos yung pondo. That the funds came from the DOT, part came from the Tourism Department, part came from the DND dahil sila yung disaster component. So naubos yun. So kailangan dagdagan yun. Yun dinagdagan po natin yun. And at the same time, some provinces naman, wala talaga mapaglagyan. Paano kung may COVID doon? Hindi naman pwede, dati, school building ang ginagamit. Okay yun kung summer. Ngayon, magpapasokan na. So, hindi na, yun kailangan ng pasilidad yun. So, yun yung mga small items na we had to listen to the people on the ground. Ano talaga yung pangangailangan nila.
Right. And yeah, I hope maisabatas at matapos na talaga yung bayanihan too, because MSMEs are also are waiting for some of the provisions to be enacted then dun sa bayanihan with all the support needed. And just to add for our viewers, let me just show on your screens, there's a Citizens Budget Tracker. Diyan po, Senator, pinapublish din nila yung financial report from the President na binibigay sa Congress.
I took www.covidbudget.ph.
It's an initiative of some groups. So they translate the report, kasi several pages yon. They make it more visual so that people would understand the numbers.
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful, pag budget, maraming inaantok dyan Pag mga lumalabas na yung mga numero, parang, parang may gagawin yata ako di ba? Parang, so it's good that they can really laymanize some very not interesting topics to some people, no? Kasi talagang may stake tayong lahat dyan.
And moving on to your legislative response, Senator, you have filed 2 bills, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe more. Let us know if there are more bills. But we know of 2. The one is for the digitalization and reskilling or upskilling, addressing the new normal that we have. Can you tell us more about this? And ano ang estado nito? Bilang, I think this was a few months ago pa.
Yeah. Thank you. Before I go there, I'll just mention the MSMEs. We put in around, I think, billions, 50 billion yata sa Land Bank, sa DBP, sa SB Corp, Small Business Corporation under DTI, and Phil Guarantee. These are government financial institutions na pwedeng umutang ang ating MSMEs and other businesses dahil alam natin marami talagang tinamaan. Just to put that out there also. So yung a few of the bills we crafted, yung Digital Careers Bill that's been heard already in the Labor Committee headed by Senator Joel Villanueva. So yun, that's for technical working group and finalization of the bill. Ito yung talagang recognizing the importance of work from home arrangements of our freelancers and having a commitment talaga na that the government will try to further these digital careers and also provide for the training of people. Like dapat may targets tayo, may roadmap tayo dahil right now, believe it or not, there are even some computer colleges which don't even offer coding, which is like a very basic skill and very in-demand skill, no? Employable ka pag code, you can do coding, no? Sa Singapore, they already do that in grade school, sa elementary pa lang. So kahit mag-set tayo ng konting goals with respect to that, para yung not only do we want to attract this 21st century type of establishments and businesses, but also to have these types of jobs, we need the workforce also. Otherwise, we'll fall into the trap of the job skills mismatch, di ba? Minsan, may jobs, walang skills. Yun ang nangyari nung umusbong yung BPO industry. At the time, ang reklamo ng mga managers ng BPOs about 15-20 years ago, bakit 1 out of 100 lang ang natatanggap dun sa it's either your communication skills, your English speaking skills, it could be anything, no? But they discovered hindi pala kailangan ng full-blown college or vocational course. Kailangan lang siguro the industry, the IT BPO industry developed a module, or I think it was only 3 weeks, and you're already ready to be employed. So that 1 out of 100 hiring ratio went up to maybe 6 or 7 per 100 in a short span of time, which just shows yun talaga, kumbaga yung piso na ininvest mo talagang goes a long way kasi ang daming yung what you invested in the training, ang daming na benepisyo. Yun ang kagandahan mo, no? So we have to invest in training for modern industries, itong digital careers, dahil alam na natin yan ang new normal, no? And then another one is yung digital transactions bill, which it's really it's long overdue actually because matagal nang clamor niya ng ating freelancers, di ba? You're a freelancer, you don't really want to leave your house anymore dahil may gagastos ka. Marami sa MSMEs natin, wala namang item for a messenger, unlike let's say you have a small law firm or you're di ba wala ka namang messenger na magfa-file sa'yo unlike the big law firms. So you would appreciate having being able to file your income tax online. And meron nga ang BIR, pero ang problema, pag file mo, kailangan mo pa rin mag-file ng hard copy. So parang na-defeat yung purpose. In fact, the purpose of the digitalization was to make it easier. Ito pinahirapan pa dahil bukod sa physical, kailangan mo mag-online. So hindi na-grasp yung concept of digitalization as a way of bridging the gap for MSMEs, di ba? So now no choice na tayo. It's time we did what we want. And itong maganda dito sa Bayanihan to Recover as One or Bayanihan 2 bill is we put in some provisions na mawala yung red tape sa gobyerno, yung pag-antay sa applications, tapos nag-apply ka na in full, biglang magdadagdag ng application, ng bagong requirement. Hindi na pwede yon. You have to settle things within 7 days, and if it's not settled, it's considered or deemed approved. Tapos there's a special provision din para sa ating mga cell sites dahil yon, that's one aspect that's holding back our full digital transformation, yung number of cell sites or yung ratio of cell sites to population. Kumbaga parang compared to Vietnam, times ilan tayo. Tapos parang we're only comparable to the greater Tokyo area in terms of the number of cell sites we have. At narinig natin si Pangulo, talagang sabi niya, you telcos, you better shape up. Sabi naman ng telcos, sir, etong mga local governments, pinapahirapan kami. Lampas 20 yung mga mga application form or mga kailangan na requirements. So here we just limited it, we streamlined it. It's just the building permit, it's just the environmental compliance, and if it's a private residential area or subdivision, then you must get the approval of the residents. So yun lang. Very very simplified, very minimal application for 3 years. So hopefully that digital divide that exists with respect to our IT network and infrastructure we can somehow make that giant forward.
So kumbaga, Senator, parang purasado talaga lahat ng mga sectors ngayon na mag-adjust ng mabilisan kasi parang ito na yung
Yes.
new normal talaga natin. Pero sir, balik ko lang doon sa bayanihan. Meron bang particular duration kung hanggang kailan lang ninyo ine-expect na magastos yung buong budget for Bayanihan 2? And right after this Bayanihan 2, what are we looking at?
Yung Bayanihan 2 is in general, it's in force until December 19, 2020 of this year. And the reason is that's the day that because it's an emergency powers bill, our constitution requires that it ends on the last day of session of the Congress. So because it's an emergency powers bill, that's in the constitution. So that's the day we adjourn. But there are certain provisions na mas matagal yung kanyang longevity or duration, like the one that we talked about, yung sa streamlined permitting for cell sites. That's good for 3 years. Tapos doon naman sa pag-release ng budget, kahit basta na-transfer na by December 19 yung pera, like the Department of Budget, pumasok na yung pera sa gobyerno, nilipat na niya sa Department of Health or Department of Education or TESDA or whatever implementing agency it is. Kahit lumampas yun, pwede naman gastusin yun, basta nandoon na yung pera sa kanya. Just like Bayanihan 1, hindi na siya enforced, pero we just read in the papers today, namigay ang DSWD ng ayuda sa ating mga jeepney driver. Which is very welcome news dahil talagang isa yan sa mga sektor na nagrereklamo na parang napag-iwanan sila. So I was very happy to read that, and I hope Bayanihan, we placed a provision in Bayanihan 2 na yung mga hindi nakatanggap under Bayanihan 1 should be priority under Bayanihan 2. So hopefully we'll see more of that, no?
All right. Jules, any other questions on the Bayanihan 2?
I'm good.
Okay. Because I will now move on to Senator Angara's personal journey this pandemic. Senator, you recently launched your initiative on the plasma donation website called Plasma ng Pag-asa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Can you tell us more about it in terms of how accessible it could be? And has it been helpful so far for others, considering the different studies being released about the immunity after having COVID?
Yes. Yeah. First of all, we'll the doctors swear by it, yung plasma. Pero just to put it out there, kung natatakot sila, yung WHO says it hasn't undergone enough clinical trials for them to make a definitive pronouncement. Pero if you go to the hospitals, talagang binibigay ng mga doktor yan, whether you're in Manila or Cebu. And we started out with this plasma ng Pag-asa dahil yun talaga ang naging personal experience natin. And I think a week or two after I left the hospital, bandang early April yon, tinawagan na ako ng doktor sa St. Luke's. Sabi niya, "Sir, may pasyente kami sa St. Luke's." I was in BGC, but yung pasyente nila was in St. Luke's QC. Sabi niya, "Nangangailangan sir ng plasma dahil medyo matanda na." So, yun, I gave blood, and I discovered you can only give blood pala every 14 days. Tsaka hindi pala, I'm sure many of us have given blood, no? So, parang simple, straightforward yung pagbigay ng plasma. Tuturukan ka lang, tapos kukunin yung dugo mo. Ito pala mas komplikado, kailangan may equipment ka, at kinukuha yung dugo mo, kinukuha yung plasma, tapos hinihiwalay, tapos binabalik sa'yo yung ibang, yung non-plasma aspect nung dugo mo. So it's a procedure that takes over an hour. So it's quite may medyo matrabaho siya, masalimuot, very technical, and you have to have the equipment also. So we started out with 4 hospitals in Manila. Now I think we're up to 15 or 16. And ang problema talaga yung konting-konti lang talaga yung sources ng plasma. I think all over people are complaining. I get so many texts from friends, and I try to just refer them na lang to the website and to itong mga hospital kasi sila talaga yung nakakaalam. Pero dati kasi wala talagang central repository of information eh. Kumbaga, itong mga doktor, tinatawagan lang yung doktor niya sa isang hospital. Oh, meron ba kayo dyan? Meron ba kayong nakaka-recover dyan? Meron kaming pasyente din. So, it was very ad hoc, very temporary. So, we just wanted to find a way to help institutionalize it. No? At sa ngayon, after that, the Red Cross also came up with its own plasma na pag-asa, which is good because Red Cross is one of the top blood collecting agencies in the Philippines, no? Whether public or private, talagang masigasig sila they're known for that, and please talaga sila. So maganda na sila, they're on board also the plasma bandwagon, maganda yun. And even the DOH now is also kind of trying to encourage patients. Ang problema nga kasi, yung mga pasyente naman na recovery, nagdi-decrease na yung antibodies mo. So there is a theory now that yung immunity naming mga nagka-COVID may only last for 3 months, unlike previous viruses na yung immunity mo can last for years. So medyo natakot ako doon at dahil talagang nakikita no, sinasabi nga ng mga doktor, I gave plasma na a second time. Sabi nila, teka, parang bumababa yung antibodies mo. And that's an experience shared by my fellow COVID victims like si Senator Zubiri, si Howie Severino, our journalist friend. He also got COVID, and I think 2 or 3 times na siya nag-donate. Sinabihan din siya ng doktor na your antibodies are decreasing. So itong plasma is a very precious resource eh. And talagang nakabubuhay siya. But there are also some conditionalities. Hindi lang basta-basta bibigyan mo ng plasma ang isang tao. Una, kailangan malubha yung kaso ng pasyente. It's not a mild or moderate case. It's a severe case, meaning he's on intubation, I was told. At pangalawa, it has to be received within 12 days of recovery, I think. 12 or 14 days of recovery. Yun talaga may maximum effectivity yung plasma. So kung meron man nakikinig sa atin on the off chance, sana and they're still within that window, makabigay sila sana ng dugo. Marami silang matutulungan.
Ayan.
Correct.
So, nandyan yung website. Tama po ba yan?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you sa pre-advertising.
Okay, ayan. So, sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon na pwede mag-donate, bisitahin nyo lang yung website na yan. Okay, Senator, as we wrap up the interview, actually, before you give your final statement, kasi gusto ko lang isingit po siguro kasi finance chair din naman po kayo ng Finance Committee ng Senate. This is regarding the Manila Bay beautification, actually. Kanina po kasi may nilabas na statement si Secretary Briones na yung huge amount of money na 300 plus billion could have been used by the education sector to buy more tablets, etc. From your end, sir, parang give us an overview, i-laymanize niyo po sa amin, is it possible na kahit matagal nang naka-allocate for DNR yung beautification, actually hindi beautification, rehabilitation ng Manila Bay, is it still possible to reallocate the funds during the implementation of a certain project or program?
Depende. We have to know kung multi-release yan. Kasi kung ilang I read that the project is worth 300 plus million. Kung na-release na kasi yung 300 million, hindi na pwede dahil nandoon na yan sa agency. You cannot stop that already. And in fact, that's under the law. So the only one who can really stop that project is the executive because under Bayanihan 1 and 2, there are powers. One of the powers we gave to the executive is the power to realign funds. So maraming projects na re-realign ang gobyerno actually. Like dahil yung purchase of vehicles, for instance, di mo naman kailangan ng vehicle ngayon dahil walang lumalabas, di ba? Yung allocation for each agency, there's usually a allocation for travel. Yun, I understand maramihan doon na realign. Yung infrastructure, I understand like funds for some buildings were set aside and given to DOH, given to the DSWD. So yun, pagka may power na gano'n ng executive, pero yun ang problema, pag na-release na ng DBM ang pondo at nasa ahensya niya, I think that's more or less a done deal na kasi implementable na siya. So, yun ang mangyayari niyan dito sa Manila Bay, Boracay Beach.
Manila Bay Beach. Ayan. for your insights on that. But before that, sorry, I just also want to ask, what's the Senate or your personal maybe foresight on what's gonna happen after December 19 or after at the end of this year, and the COVID-19 is still here. Ano ang magiging response ng Senado pagdating dito? Ano nga asahan ng taong bayan na pwedeng maging action on the legislative side on the COVID-19 response?
Well, hopefully we have the 2021 budget and that will be responsive kasi yung Bayanihan 2 parang pantakip natin dun sa pagkukulang natin or pangangailangan from now till December. And then starting January 1, assuming both houses of Congress na ipasa yung budget on time. Hopefully January 1, we have that new budget which is responsive to the new normal at sa pangangailangan ng lahat ng taong bayan, no? So yun ang theory natin in terms of time, no? Of course you have a 10-day gap there, pero Christmas break naman yan usually. That's not really a time when we all function, no? So hopefully ganun ang mangyayari, no? The president will sign it and then hopefully the funds will last until December. Kasi dun sa Bayanihan 1 parang naubos ka agad dun sa salta, sa unang salta. So I think the lesson here was try to be a little more moderate in the use of the funds para it will last a few months.
Okay. Senator, as we end the interview, siguro you could use this opportunity to reach out to the people, especially as someone na nakaranas ng COVID mismo. Kasi right now, for the past 7 months, parang more on figures na lang natin nakikita yung mga COVID, yung mga personalities, hindi natin nakikitaan na stories mismo. So from your end, sir, please encourage everyone na huwag maging complacent kahit na nagpa-flatten na raw yung curve. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Tama kayo, Jules and Ian. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. No, it's an honor. Well, for people, I think what the statistic that comes out to me recently is hindi na tinatamaan yung 55 and up. Most cases in hospitals is 20 to 49 years old. So kasama kayo kasama yung millennial generation. So dapat mag-ingat yung kasi yung parang yung natin sa vulnerable sectors di ba, yung mga may predisposition, yung senior citizens, yan ang dapat mag-ingat. So ngayon, I think you said it really very well that lahat tayo kailangan mag-ingat and yung pag may nararamdaman tayo, it's also best. Ako nung may naramdaman ako, I really quarantine myself dahil aware ako dun sa mga symptoms ng COVID. Nung nagka-sore throat ako, sumakit yung katawan ko at yung ulo ko, humiwalay na ako kaagad kasi hindi ko naantay. Highly contagious pa rin talaga ang COVID. Kaya kung pag pinasok niyo yung numero, the statistics of reporting, makikita mo in one household 6, 8, 9, 10. It's very common, talagang very infectious. So we have to learn how to live with COVID. And the best way is really for each one to be personally responsible for his safety. And it's not just for his safety, but for the person beside him or the person who lives in his house also. Yun yung talagang lesson ng COVID. We should not be the weakest link. We should all be strong links working together.
Okay, Senator, ito na talaga. Before we let you go, meron nag-message. Sino po ang hairstylist ni Senator Angara? Ang pogi
Baluktot nga Alam mo, yan ang maganda ng COVID. Siguro, since ang last haircut ko, February. Kaya ngayon, tayo na lang gumugupit ng sarili.
Sariling gupit yan, Senator?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pati sa anak ko bunso, ako na rin ang gumugupit. So, naka-save tayo ng a few thousand pesos.
Madiskarte si Senator. Scholar yan Scholar din ang bayan.
Wala namang nakakakita sa likod Dito lang sa harapan.
Harapan naman.
Okay. Magpaturo ko kay Senator Angara, Jules.
Dapat mag-vlog kayo, sir, paano nyo ginagawa.
How to video next time. Alright, maraming salamat, Senator, for joining us tonight here on QuaranTalk. Salamat po.
Thanks a lot, Ian and Jules. UP ba kayo pareho? Kasi UP colors
Yes, sir.
UP fight. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Sir.
More power
Good
to you.
Po.
Salamat.
You,
Good night.
Good night po. Okay, ayan, nakita natin kung paano ang ambag ng Senate pagdating dito sa COVID response. So nalinaw ni Senator kanina kung hanggang kailan yung duration ng Bayanihan 2 o itong Bayanihan to recover as one. And for the next year, kung may pangamba, it should be responsive doon sa 2021 budget. Okay.
Oo. Ang Bayanihan 2 na hindi pa napipirmahan.
Ayan na, 2 weeks na palang pinirmahan. Natapos yung BICAM ng Senado at ng House of Representatives. So executive, nasa inyo na yan. Okay, kailangan nyo ng pirmahan yan para ma-implement na yung mga bagong projects and mga bagong programs under Bayanihan 2. Okay, ngayon Eya, tuloy-tuloy pa rin tayo sa ating usapin sa ating mga big news. Dito lang yan sa latest news. Ay, joke lang. QuaranTRENDS pala muna. Ano bang trending topic natin? Thank you, thank you. Okay, medyo nakakagalit po yung trending topic natin today. Number 1 trending topic po ngayon, #justice for Jennifer Laude. Okay, very quickly lang, bakit ba galit na galit ang ating mga kababayan ngayon online? So Jennifer Laude was killed by an American Marine named Pemberton in 2014. So Pemberton, this Marine was detained in the country, but due to good conduct, he was pardoned no less by President Duterte. So President Duterte earlier, nagkaroon siya ng message which is weirdly maaga and thankfully maaga. Nabanggit ni President Duterte na we haven't treated Pemberton fairly. Alam mo kung bakit, Eya? Nabanggit niya kasi daw wala namang nire-report na naging basto si Pemberton sa loob ng detention center, blah, blah, blah. So kaya niya nabanggit yan and he decided to pardon the president. Now, the question is, did the United States actually request to pardon Pemberton? The answer is, this is from a tweet to GMA News. They said that Secretary Teddy Locsin said that the United States did not send a request to pardon U.S. Marine Lance Corporal Joseph Scott Pemberton, saying that even U.S. Ambassador Sung Kim was taken by surprise. So, we are not yet sure kung ano yung storya behind this, kung bakit biglang pinardon, bigla-bigla ng Pangulo mismo, itong si Pemberton. Yan po ang trending topic for today. Ikaw, ano tingin mo dito?
Ayokong tingnan, Jules. Joke lang. Kailangan nating harapin ang mga ganitong usapin na totoong nakakagalit. Pero mostly ako right now, mas nagtataka nung dun sa mga statements na lumabas, no? Earlier, ang una ko lang nakita was a presidential spokesperson statement na binura ng presidente yung mga parusang dapat pang ipataw sa kanya, pero hindi yung fact na
pumatay siya ng tao.
Sa pagpatay kay Jennifer Laude. And that fact alone, it's a heavy matter that should have been taken lightly. At yung tanong ngayon ay, bakit merong presidential pardon? At ngayon, Jules, what do you think about this?
Well, may isang resounding tweet na actually na-retweet ko rin to kanina. Sabi niya, kaibigan ko to si Ace, sabi niya na from 2016 kasi yung binabandera ng government natin ay itong independent foreign policy. And the president has been very consistent in a way before na talagang independent foreign policy tayo. So, what's the reason behind this pivoting? Di ba? Yun yung nakakapagtaka na even as per Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin, hindi naman pala ni-request ng Amerika. So, what's in it? Di ba? Anong man nangyari behind the past few months kung bakit biglang nagkaroon ng pardon? So, yeah, antabayan na natin kung ano yung magiging reaction ng pamilya ni Jennifer Laude dito. Pero marami na ring nilabas ng mga reaction yung iba't ibang mga rights groups regarding this. So, yan po ang ating,
Ito yung mga panahon na masarap maging investigative journalist para busisiin yung mga ganitong usapin. Jules, Guiang, let's proceed.
Right. So, now let's proceed to the big news. Dito lamang yan sa second part ng latest news. Yes, so kaugnay pa rin po ng ating trending topic. Ito nga po, kaugnay ng ating trending topic ang ating latest news ngayon. Binigyan ni Pangulong Duterte ng absolute pardon si Joseph Scott Pemberton and US Marine na convicted sa pagpatay kay Jennifer Laude noong 2014. Sabi ng Malacanang spokesperson, Harry Roque, na siyang naging legal counsel ng pamilya Laude. Binura na ng presidente ang mga parusa na dapat pang ipataw kay Pemberton pero hindi ang conviction ng kanyang pagpatay kay Laude. 6 to 10 years na pagkabilanggo ang ipinato kay Pemberton noong 2015. Pero kamakailan ay nagdesisyon ang Regional Trial Court ng Olongapo na maaaring makalaya ng mas maaga si Pemberton dahil sa good conduct. Dahil sa desisyon ng presidente, maaari nang makabalik si Pemberton sa United States. Alam mo, yung ibang reaction ng mga kababayan natin dito. The current administration has been very critical with this GCTA, itong Good Conduct Time Allowance. Pero it's kind of weird na ginamit din nila yung itong angle na to with regard to Pemberton.
Mhm.
Okay.
Tingnan natin ng mga, actually,
Alright.
Jules,
Ihabol
yes.
lang pala natin to, Ea. May isa pa. Ito yung sinabi ni spokesperson Harry Roque. Ayan. So para lang malinaw na siya rin yung nagsabi niyan. And yeah, just for the record, he was the legal counsel of the Laude family. Right.
There. Thank you, Jules. Again, you can read more on that on Inquirer and ABS-CBN websites. All right, on to our next news update. Tungkol nga ito sa umingay sa media na paglalagay ng white sand sa Manila Bay. Ito po ay synthetic sand dahil bawal sa batas, na pinagbabawal ng batas natin na ilipat ang natural white sand mula sa ating coastal areas. So galing umano ito sa dolomite boulders sa Cebu province. Pinutulan po yan ng ilang mga environmentalist groups gaya ng Greenpeace, Kalikasan at Oceana Philippines. Sabi nila, walang maitutulong white sand sa Manila Bay rehabilitation. Pangalawa, maaari pa itong makasira sa natural ecosystem. At sabi nga nila, kanina rin, maraming nagsasabi na pwede pang magamit sana yung fund na ito sa ibang mga bagay, lalo na ngayong panahon ng pandemic. At sinuportahan naman ni Manila Mayor Isko Moreno ang paglalagay ng synthetic white sand sa Manila Bay sa paniniwalang alam ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources o DNR kung ano ang makabubuti o makasasama sa Manila Bay. Para naman kay Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque, ang white sand ay makakabuti rin sa mental health ng mga Pilipino ngayong pandemic. Pero, ayon sa Department of Health, maaari daw magdulot ng respiratory issues ang paglanghap sa dolomite dust na siyang gamit sa artificial white sand nga na yan para sa Manila Bay. Pero paglilinaw ni DOH Undersecretary Vergere, hindi naman daw siguro ipapatupad ng DNR ang proyekto kung hindi ito napag-aralan ang mga posibleng masamang epekto sa tao at kalikasan. Oh, that's right up from ABS-CBN also an Inquirer. Jules, what can you say about that?
Siguro gusto ko lang mag-react, Ea, doon sa sinabi ni spokesperson Harry Roque na makakabuti sa mental health ng mga Pilipino. Number one, lahat ba ng mga Pilipino ay dadaan sa Rojas Boulevard para sa mga nakakaranas ng mental health problems? Dadaan ba sila dyan? At number two, pag dumaan ba sila dyan at nakita nila na may white sand na dyan, bukod pa sa magandang sunset ng Manila Bay, talaga makakabuti nga siya sa mental health. Gagawa ba sila ng pag-aaral kapag malinis na ang Manila Bay? Kapag may white sand na dyan, susuriin ba nila kung talagang umayos yung mental health ng ating mga kababayan? Yun yung mga questions natin. So obviously, I think some officials right now are just sugarcoating the problem para hindi na siya lumaki. So ayun lang, sana mas maging maging mapanuri doon sa mga sinasabi ng mga official.
Jules, ito yung isa masasabihin ko na namang looking the bright side of things and thinking positive and seeing the good things and the bad kind of comments from some officials, no, na I think it was just a comment na na-point out na okay naman siya sa mental health. Pero ako personally, naniniwala rin po ako na nakakatulong ang magandang tanawin, maaliwalas para sa mental health natin. Pero mas lagi natin titingnan yung heavier public interest, and that's the issue on the environment and the health of everyone, lalo na sa pandemic, diba? This is an environment issue to begin.
Yeah.
Yes,
and,
okay. Jules.
Yes, and siguro on behalf of the Manileños, diba, we apologize to the beautiful island of Cebu and the people of Cebu. Dahil nakita mo yung photo, Ea, nung yung isang mountain doon na talagang natapyas because of this one. So, we apologize for that, and talagang hindi siya necessity at this moment, 'di ba? So, yun lang nakakalungkot. Okay, isa pang balita natin. Yes, Ea.
Sorry. Paalala lang po ha, bawal pa rin po lumangoy sa Manila Bay. Hindi pa rin safe, hindi pa tapos ang rehabilitation sa Manila Bay. So kahit i-enjoy natin ang white sand dyan, kung may white sand man na matuloy yung white sand na yan, hindi pa rin po advisable na lumangoy sa Manila Bay. At kahit pumunta po kayo dyan para i-enjoy ang white sand para sa inyong mental well-being, again, reminder to still practice social distancing and wear your masks. Pinaalala rin po yan ng DOH sa kanilang presser. Okay, Jules, on our
Yeah, and
third
we invite you guys sa viewers natin na manood on Wednesday sa QT Earth kasi ipapaliwanag yan further kung ano bang environmental risk. Okay, next news natin, and I'm sure maraming na bad trip din dito. Ito naman yung sa MTRCB, Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, proposed to include in its scope streaming services like Netflix. Okay, presidential spokesperson said it would also consider the views of lawmakers on the matter. Umani kasi ng batikos mula sa mga mambabatas ang panukalang isama sa regulasyon ng MTRCB ang Netflix at iba pang streaming services. Netflix had some 16 million new subscribers in the first quarter of 2020 due to imposed community lockdown amid the pandemic. And yun nga for me that's why it's called MTRCB for a reason. Movie and television, walang Netflix dyan, walang streaming. Okay, so it would, I think, I am not an expert of law, pero it would entail legislative actions again para dapat maisama yung mga streaming ng mga movies para sa scope ng MTRCB.
Magiging MTS, Movie, Television, and Streaming Services Regulatory Board. Pero, again, sa ngayon, we're enjoying the free space of the online world. But again, ganun talaga, nauuna rin ang innovations bago sumunod ang legislations. So
Yeah.
this is I would say this is a valid concern. This is worth asking, no? Dapat bang i-regulate ang mga streaming services? At tingnan natin kung ano yung mas nararapat na sagot sa tanong na yun. Kasi ito ay nagmumula sa isang concern sa kind of content and the parenting controls na meron sa parental controls na meron sa mga streaming services. Jules.
Right. Okay. So on the last note, we proceed to the last part of this news. Light news naman tayo. Okay. Congratulations sa University of the Philippines. Muli, Eya, ano ba ang details nito? UP ranks 5th in Southeast Asia.
Yes. So ang UP po ay still 5th among the best universities in Southeast Asia. Ayun lang naman yung update doon, Jules. Kaya ka nakasuot ng maroon jacket, no? And again, this is for this year, 2020, and that's only considering the universities in Southeast Asia. You can read that story on ANCX website, ANCX at abscbn-cbn.com.
Okay. So now, right, Eya. Yeah. So we proceed to the last part of the show. Of course, pinag-uusapan natin kung may ambag ang Senado kanina, ano naman ba ang ambag ng iba't ibang mga institusyon. Dito lamang yan sa Ano ang Ambag Mo. Okay, Eya, ano ba ang featured ambag natin for tonight?
Yun ang segue natin dahil sa UP ranks 5th, kailangan pa rin po ng ating UP students ang tulong dahil 5,600 UP students pa rin ang nangangailangan ng kaagapay sa kanilang remote learning. You may donate to help students acquire the tools necessary for their education, and with your donations po through the kaagapay.up.edu.ph, you may choose your donations ranging from 100 pesos to 110,000 pesos. May option po kayo to support a student for a week, for a month, and even through 4 years of schooling. So it's now made easier through kaagapay.up.edu.ph. Pag pumunta po kayo dyan, you can check several options on how you can donate, and at the same time, choose the kind of support that you can provide. So I will now flash on your screen again the website. Ayan, andyan po yan, kaagapay.up.edu.ph. And you can also look it up on Facebook, #kaagapayUP. There you go. Yan, Jules.
Okay.
And I believe meron ka rin balita tungkol dito. Yes.
Yes, the Hatch Hub partnered with UP. So ito po yung kung nasan ako ngayon, yung co-working space namin dito sa Maginhawa. So we are partnering with Kaagapay UP. So we will be launching a registration portal online para sa mga UP students na walang access sa internet, and you can use the space. Okay, and what we will be doing is we are asking help from different alumni to chip in para makover yung expenses ng paggamit nyo dito. So yeah, basically parang free usage siya, pero of course idadaan natin sa system kung sino yung eligible to use for free dito sa Hatch Hub. Of course, we'll be following health protocols para rin ma-ensure na healthy tayong lahat na gagamit dito sa Hatch Hub. So abangan nyo po sa The Hatch Hub Facebook page para makita nyo ang mga detalye regarding that. So again, calling all UP alumni, kung gusto nyo po mag-chip in, check nyo po yung page namin, The Hatch Hub, para po sa mga detalye. Okay, so
Right.
yeah.
Yes, sasabihin ko lang po na decent and mabilis naman po ang internet sa The Hatch Hub. Also, meron pong free popcorn dyan. So, yung mga estudyante natin, hindi sila magugutom, provided na ma-raise po natin yung funds necessary para po ma-supportahan ng mga students na gagamit ng The Hatch Hub. Tsaka maliwanag yung ilaw.
Oo, maliwanag. Pero so far, inalis ko na si popcorn. Pero sige, since sinabi mo, pwede natin ibalik ulit.
Sorry. Yung experience ko kasi talaga sa The Hatch Hub, okay na okay. Yung free popcorn. At saka yung may pakape pa rin ba sa The Hatch Hub?
Free coffee, free wifi. I mean, inclusive na po yun. Kasi 50 pesos ang pinaka-ano natin. Okay, so now, Aya, we proceed to our programs this week. Ito po yung maabangan yung programa. Tomorrow, the main agenda po hosted by Jermaine Halandoni de Runya. On Wednesday, Kilos Kabataan, 7 p.m. 9 p.m. naman po, QT Earth. Aya?
Yes, on Thursday, 9 p.m. po, Throwback Kasaysayan kasama UP Professor Gio Guiang. 10:30 p.m. back-to-back po yan. Inuman with Size and Rafi will bring the bar home. So, fun inuman, kwentuhan po yan about anything under the sun, pero mas madalas na social issues. Fridays, 9 p.m., SDG Online Tambayan kasama ang fun and useful barkada ng 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines. At, Jules, pag Saturday, abangan nyo ang bagong show na namin dito sa QuaranTalk Media. Then again, we are talking about the issues na kinaharap natin ngayong pandemic at kasama na dyan ang mga political and social issues. So abangan nyo kung ano yung ilalabas namin pag Sabado. Jules.
Right. We will be launching a campaign in a partnership with an institution na talagang palalakasin natin ang voter education. Ayan, may clue na kayo. Okay, so that ends our daldalan tonight, Aya.
Yes, guys, kita-kita ulit tayo dito sa daldalang walang curfew.
Usapang hindi nala-lockdown, ito po ang QuaranTalk.
Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, QuaranTalk Media.
Yes, ako po si Jules Guiang. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jules Guiang.
Yes, I'm Aya Antonio. Follow me on Twitter at Aya_Antonio. On Instagram, Aya Antonio. Okay, see you guys. Have a great week.